You forgot what you're going to say.
I didn't really have anything to say. I guess this is sort of, I've maintained this sheet. We are just another 10,000 to go to get to that goal of 2.9. And then I guess a decision or maybe we just decide temporarily how you want to handle that capital space that's been created. There is still the OMPF, and certainly we do still have another budget meeting ahead of us.
Okay, so if we didn't get to that 10,000, we ended up being at whatever we are, instead of it being 2.91, the actual percentage without removing that 10,000 is?
I'm going to say 2.93.
Okay. Okay, so we still have to deal with the capital that we've set aside, and we have to deal with whether we want to be 2.93 or whether we want to be 2.91. Hi, Richard.
I can certainly live with 2.93, Your Worship, with the qualifying statement that, you know, we may have to revisit this once we know what our municipal partnership funding is going to be. I think that we've made a pretty good effort between yesterday and today, and you folks at the meeting I missed last week due to the flu, to bring things in line. And coming in under 3% is an excellent result, and I'm good with moving ahead. In terms of the tax funding space, I'd love to see that money moved into a reserve for capital projects next year, the following year, whenever we require it.
Okay. Other discussion, thoughts? Travis?
Thank you, Worship. I would support that motion. That capital spacing of $202,000 would greatly help the capital shortfall we have next year. Just a reminder of what we could be facing next year is the back paving of the Bay Shore. We've got the 3rd Avenue East. We have the roof sorry, one second here. I should have had this before. We had the Fire Hall roof. We have the Bay Shore area. We could have the gallery roof. We have Kelso Beach Electrical that could be happening. So those are all very important projects, and those are all large-scale projects that may or may not need to be debentured. So if we had this money there to help do that and not do another debenture payment, it would be good for the community.
So just to be clear, I think Travis just kind of backdoor you into having made that motion.
That is a motion, Your Worship, that we accept the budget as presented today and move the $202,000 into a capital reserve.
Brianna, do you want that as two motions or one?
I would say the draft budget, certainly the actual budget approval will happen on February 11th or whenever that also
So Richard can narrow his motion to just putting the capital money into a capital reserve. Okay, does that work? Good. Other discussion? John, do you want to read that speech again? Carol, go ahead.
Kate, would you mind clarifying again about the asset management plan and where we are with that and what we need to attend to?
The asset management plan, so there is new legislation, or it came forward roughly around 2013, that the province started requiring. At that time, they tied it to funding. So if you wanted to be eligible for certain types of grants, you had to have an asset management plan that was approved by council. That was back in 2013. There's now actually Ontario regulations that pertain to the asset management plan that we're working towards, and we will meet those in time for July 31st, which is their deadline. That'll come through council. And it basically accounts for the ongoing maintenance service levels and ultimate replacement of all of our core infrastructure. As well, we have by choice aimed to include other assets in that plan that are not just core infrastructure, so facilities, parks, fleet, those other asset classes as well will be in there. So any information I've presented historically as it relates to that sort of funding gap or infrastructure deficit is the information that was presented back to council in 2013. We don't have updated figures on what that funding deficit is currently, but at that point in time it was roughly 10 million that we were aiming on an annual basis to put into capital.
So just so I understand about the difference in the line items, so we are considering the capital reserve to be but not redirected into asset management or any portion thereof? In other words,
Certainly, if it gets set aside into a capital reserve, those funds can be drawn on for asset management projects in future years. What that strategy allows council to do is maintain a stable level or annually increasing level of capital funding. So next year, our baseline funding will be consistent with where we ended this year, and will grow from there. Whereas if you sort of allow that capital funding to drop next year, that's where you start again. So whatever difference you create this year, it persists into every year going forward. So this allows us to maintain that and then draw from those funds in next year's capital budget and reduce that overall funding deficit that we discussed 2 weeks ago, I guess, or a week ago, based on what is currently in the 2020 5-year capital forecast.
Others? So guess I'm going to call that question. All in favor? And that is carried, I think. Rock, that was a carry? You opposed? Okay, so 1 opposed. Carried. What else do you need?
I don't need anything else. I think that's a good day.
Excuse me, are we done?
That's Kate.
Are we finished then?
As far as the budget goes, we're finished. If there was anything else you wanted to discuss,
I
certainly
just
we
want to
can.
thank Denis for coming.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, John's got it. So, just before we get back into the formal stuff that we've got to do, again, Kate, staff, everybody, thanks for putting together these numbers, getting us to today, giving us a budget to review. This is our budget. This was the moment that if you want to cut anything more, then you should be cutting it. You should be putting your hand up just before we call it. If not, you're satisfied, and we'll pass it when we get to budget night.
Yeah, and we will certainly, as soon as we hear anything from the province as it relates to OMPF, we will be passing that along to council.
And thanks to all of council for doing your homework and coming prepared. So, John, I think you've got some things there. Number 7, maybe? All in favor? That is carried. And you're all in favor? That is carried.
And last, I move that bylaw number 2019-023 be passed and enacted. Moved by myself and second by Marion Kepke.
And all in favor? That is carried. So that completes our business for the past 2 days. I've got 1:09 p.m. We've completed our business. So we're adjourned. Thank you.